We're going live.
I'm going live over here.
I am. I don't know why it's so dark. It's suddenly dark. I don't know what the deal is. It's okay. We'll just have to go with the way it is.
Do you want me to move the camera up?
I don't think it'll matter at this
Or
point. Just
back?
come on. Just come on. Let's just do this. Who cares? We're in a pandemic.
Okay. Well, that's weird, man. I don't like that at all.
I know. And now you're hidden behind your laptop because you're so small.
Okay.
See, the light changed on us.
Okay.
I don't understand. We'll just go with what we got.
Okay. Who knows? Hi. Welcome to this week's episode of Hollywood Matrimony Live. Thank you for watching us right now on YouTube and Facebook. You can also find us on Instagram and Twitter. And most importantly, don't forget to go check out our website, hollywoodmatrimony.com. That's where all the good stuff is.
For whatever that's worth.
Whoop, whoop.
Are you live on yours?
I'm live on mine.
Okay.
Here I am. I'm very bright on this side, so I don't know.
I don't know what the deal is. I don't know why everything's so light. The lighting hasn't changed. The setup hasn't changed, other than us moving the room.
Yeah, we moved the room around,
But
that
still,
shouldn't matter.
Yeah, it's the same thing.
I mean, well, and last time we tried to put like a lamp shining this way, and that didn't really work either.
And then all of a sudden it fixed itself.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
So maybe it's going to fix itself.
I don't think
we don't know.
We're going to have to re-mess with it.
Don't know what's going on.
So anyway.
No idea.
We didn't do any of our shows last week. We opted to shut it all down.
Shut it down.
For the week with everything going on. But the show must go on eventually. So we're back this week with all kinds of variety of stuff.
Effect.
So what would you like to talk about, my love?
All right. Oh my gosh, we have so many things to talk about. I don't even know how this happened. I feel like we just watched one thing, but now suddenly we've got like 50 things to talk about. Not really, like 5.
Not really talking about 50, but
we got 5, so it's a lot. Okay. You want to just go in order as they're listed on our website?
Yeah, but one of them we're not going to talk about in here.
Okay, that's fine.
So that second one down, we're not going to actually talk about.
That's okay. We'll talk
but
about
that's
it next time.
going to be on the show for tomorrow instead.
There you go.
So
we're not even like.
I don't even care anymore.
Okay.
I don't even care.
All right. So tell me about this first movie you watched.
Which one is it?
I'm proud
I don't
of
have my
you.
glasses on.
Emma.
Oh my God. All right. So, first movie is this movie Emma. It's based on a Jane Austen story, novel, whatever, play, whatever it is. And it's stars Anya Taylor-Joy, who we know from.
That's a cute name.
I think it's Split. I think she's that girl.
Oh, is she?
I think so.
Huh.
Split and Glass. I know she's in Thoroughbreds and some other stuff.
Oh, yes. You know what? Because in that one she had that dark brown hair.
Yes.
That's why I'm confused. Okay, yes, you're right.
And basically the story is about this girl who. How do I make it? I'm just going to read it. It's
just
easier.
read.
It's about finding your equal and earning your happy ending. That is not in this movie. Or imagine this delicious. Handsome, clever, and rich Emma Woodhouse is a restless queen bee without rivals in her sleepy little English town. In this glittering satire of social class, Emma must navigate her way through the challenges of growing up, misguided matches, and romantic missteps to realize that love has been there all along. So it's essentially, it's like in this time period where the ladies are kind of meant to just get married and do what they're told and get matched up, and that's their importance. They need to be married, have kids, have a family. They have to
have a good match.
Yeah. She's kind of this outspoken, you're not going to tell me what to do mentality. She also tries to help other women. You know, like there's a lady that writes a letter, and she goes, "You really don't want to say this. Let me help you write it." And she writes it. And then when she doesn't think something's really working, she's like, "You really shouldn't be with them." So she almost sabotages relationships because she's so kind of cold.
Yeah.
She's not looking for her own relationship. She's independent. She doesn't think she needs a man mentality.
Yeah.
Which is fine, but
not in that time
but because she's like that, she tends to sabotage other people's relationships. The reality, she should help them. Like there's one specifically that she's like, you don't want to be with that guy. She leaves, the girl's all upset, and then she's like, well, no, he's really a great guy. You should be with him. And it becomes these issues. And in the midst of all this, she meets her own person and starts kind of falling for him. But because she's always pushing people away, she pushes them away, pushes them into somebody else's arms, and then gets jealous. So then instead of her trying to fix things the way she's thinking, it makes her look like she's trying to sabotage just to get her own way. Yeah. So it's a whole thing, but it's kind of a light. It's a romantic comedy of sorts. It is a movie I had no interest in watching. It's a good movie. It's a little slow for me. I didn't hate it. I enjoyed it more than I thought I would. because it is funny, but it's also...
Is it hilarious and
It's
romantic?
not hilarious at all. I didn't laugh out loud at all.
Okay, good.
But it was funny. It had some stickering moments. Visually, it's awesome because it is the costumes and the designs and the time period. All that is beautiful to look at. I think it works mostly because of her. She has that look about her that you believe that she's kind of stuck up and confident and all those things that this character is, without being someone you dislike, you know. But at the same time, it's a very stereotypical romantic comedy. Like, you kind of know, okay, these two are going to end up together. These two are going to get, oh, she now wants this guy. And it's that same trope of stuff. But it's an okay movie. I think people that are fans of Jane Austen would probably really like it. I'm a more fan of Steve Austin. So whichever one, $6 Million Man, Austin 3:16, whichever one you want to go with.
Any Austin? Yeah,
any Austin. Not the city so much because it's all right.
So crowded.
But no, it's a good little movie. It's funny. It's romantic. It's all the same things. But to me, it's kind of a forgettable movie because it just didn't resonate with me.
Well, I don't know that you're the core audience.
I'm not, and I recognize that. It's not. That's why I don't want to say it's a bad movie because it wasn't a movie made for me.
Right.
I like a good romantic comedy. I like good period pieces. It just, the Jane Austen stuff never really did anything for me.
Either. I'm going to be that person. I don't know if I'm the only woman in the world, but I don't like Jane Austen. Sorry. I don't.
Like, you don't like her personally?
No. I don't care for any of her writings, and I think a lot of it is because I understand the time period, but for my people, that was not a time period we experienced, so I don't personally connect with it. I find these women to be very trite and dumb. and it's my people were dealing with different issues.
You might actually enjoy this movie then, because she's that standout one that kind of.
So I might like.
She almost is like, there's elements of her that she's almost on the spectrum, because there's like one moment where they're all like at a picnic type of thing, and they're all talking and they're saying different things and honesty and whatever, and she says to this one lady who's trying to be. This one lady's just really upbeat and positive, but you could tell she's kind of not slow, but she's kind of a goofball, and she's not the pretty one or whatever. And she says something to the effect of, Emma says something to the effect of, where if you said something of substance once in a while, it would actually, somebody would care about what you're saying. And it really hurt the girl's feelings, but she didn't say anything. And the guy tells her, he's like, what is your problem?
Yeah.
She goes, well, somebody said to say the truth to her, and she said, why don't? So I told her. And she goes, but you don't realize that this lady came from no money, and she's doing this, so she's trying to fit in. She's like, you didn't think about her circumstance before you said what you think you should say.
Yeah.
And it's because that was moments of making her kind of think more. She very much reminded me of that kid in that Night Stalker movie or whatever it was about the kid at the hotel.
Yes.
The desk clerk or whatever. You know what I'm talking about.
I know what you're telling me.
It was like that, where they just
the night clerk.
Yeah, she would just say things sometimes without really thinking how it was going to affect other people. Yeah. Not because she's a dick. It's just she was very straightforward.
Yeah.
Very much like you.
Yeah.
So you would probably like her.
I don't see any reason to hide behind the bush. Now, if you want to see...
I like to hide behind the bush.
If you want to see a version of Emma that's really good, watch the movie Clueless. That I connected with.
Is that based on that?
Yeah. It's based on the same thing.
I didn't realize
that. If you compare in your mind this to Clueless, what do you think?
I'm not a fan of Clueless.
See, and I am.
See, I find that... I don't hate the movie.
I think I like Clueless because it's more inclusive.
I get why Clueless is popular. I get it is funny, and I get why it's kind of a classic now. It annoys me to no end. It's the dialogue, the way they talk drives me nuts.
But Brittany Murphy is like, y'all talk like so smart.
Yeah, and I don't like Alicia Silverstone anyway.
Oh, I love her.
So when they're in that movie, they're saying as if and all that stuff.
Yeah.
That movie, when it came out, I just wanted to punch somebody in the throat. I hated that movie so much. I haven't revisited it as an adult, but I have a distinct feeling that I would probably be extra annoyed with it. So anyway, Emma, if you like Jane Austen, like I said, it's not a bad movie by any means. It's just not for me, but I still actually enjoyed it more than I thought it was, and I did sit and watch the whole thing.
Did you watch the other Emma ever with Gwyneth Paltrow? Have you ever seen that?
No, because again, it's not a movie that
these are things I would never watch either. So, I'm sorry.
Had they not sent me this for review, I would have never saw this.
Yeah, me either.
So
I'm with you on that.
So anyway.
But that's good. I'm sure lots of people.
So if you have anybody out there that is a Jane Austen fan that wants us, I will give it to you.
Yeah, we'll give it to you.
So there you go. That's how we make up for it. moving on. Now we're going to talk about a classic. Okay. And these are older movies, but they're movies you never saw.
I've never seen these before.
So Shout Factory
Shout!
has released both these. One of them, they're just now releasing, or just released this past week, which is Escape from LA, which I know is not the popular of the two. But if you don't know, the original film is Escape from New York. Escape from Dropping Me. Now, Escape from New York and Escape from LA are both available from Shout Factory.
Shout!
They're special editions. But because this new one was coming out, and I wasn't sure if I was going to get a copy of it because of the pandemic and things not shipping out, but it showed up. I was actually excited, especially since we weren't getting a lot of anything. I was excited for anything to show up. I was excited when Emma showed up because we ain't got nothing.
New movie.
I was like, Universal sent a movie. So I decided for this one, I have seen them both numerous times. She had never seen either one of them. So this is more about diving into your opinions on the film. So,
oh, Lord, people are going to not like my opinion.
So we know that most people find Escape from New York a classic. It's one of those things that Snake Plissken is a popular character. It's even Kurt Russell, one of his favorite characters ever played. So tell us what you think about Escape from New York.
Man, this movie is so weird. I mean,
it's so weird.
It's so weird. Like, you get into it at the beginning, and I'm really trying to pay attention because it was a little bit strange and odd. But then I think I got into it. I'm like, okay, I understand what's happening. He's going in. He's got to try to get out. But it's just odd. And some of the characters are very strange. But I'm getting it. I mean, they're isolated on the island. My question is this: where do they get their groceries from?
I just always assumed that they ship in stuff and the
like
stores still run, even though people are just robbing them.
I guess.
But I don't know. I mean, they could be cannibalistic people eating other people, and they could be still growing stuff because they have the entire island.
I mean, I know they have an entire city.
But that's a valid point.
But I mean, that's what I was thinking about, which I know is probably not what I was supposed to be thinking about. I think Kurt Russell did a great job in this strange thing.
You know, it's funny because I haven't watched this in a little while, and it's a very slow movie. It really is. It's very dated. It's not like some of the movies that are classics where, at least for me, that I could watch it over and over and over. It's very dated. It feels like 1981. Yeah. It's interesting to see, that the future is 1997. Yeah. And we're so far past that now. But Kurt Russell's awesome in it. Even though I don't understand really his spandex camo pants.
Yeah, that's odd.
But that was just his thing.
I do like a lot of the action in it, and some of the kills and stuff were unique.
And I never understand.
I'm trying to remember time period.
I never understand when they're making a character so tough guy who's clearly a no nonsense mumbler. I never understand why his tattoo is so erotic. Because they put his snake tattoo is down on his belly going into the happy trail, and I'm like, if you're going to put it in his chest, why wouldn't they have put it like at the top of his chest, like Iron Fist, or made his whole arm?
You're asking questions.
Because he wears the sleeveless shirt. Why not put like an entire snake down his arms or something? Could have been such a cooler idea, but whatever. Okay, so with Escape from New York, it's funny because the whole time I was really waiting for this movie, and the end of the movie and this one was actually the end of the second one that I had in my brain because I was waiting for you. That's why I was like, watch for the big twist, and then it never happened. I'm like, I'll see the next one, I guess, because I forgot. Yeah. It's very much like the Evil Dead mentality is everybody loves Evil Dead, and they're like, oh my God, Evil Dead. And everything they remember about Evil Dead is actually an Evil Dead 2. That's funny. So, all right, so we jump into Escape from LA, which didn't happen until, 1996?
Yeah, so how many years later?
So 1981, and then we didn't get a sequel until 1996 from John Carpenter.
Okay.
And John Carpenter returned to make it. John Carpenter does Halloween and those kind of things. The Thing. So this is like the third time at least that I know of off the top of my head that he worked with Kurt Russell, because Kurt Russell's in The Thing as well. So what did you think from Escape from LA?
The very first thing is he shows up wearing the exact same outfit he's been wearing for 10 years or whatever.
Matlock wore the same outfit for how many seasons?
I guess, but that don't make no sense. The interesting thing is he's still fitting the exact same clothes, which good for you, Kurt Russell.
Yeah, he wore the beginning of the movie, he wears the exact same outfit from 1981.
Still don't understand the stretchy cargo pants, but whatever. I mean, that's the thing. I have stretchy cargo pants now. So I should have worn them. I should have worn them right now.
Yeah, I didn't think about it. Go put them on right now.
I'm going to go put them on. Anyways, I'm going to be that weirdo that I think I like the second one more because it was more understand. Maybe because the first one I had to concentrate so hard to understand what the heck was going on with these weirdos.
Yeah.
That now in the second one they're not as weird. I'm like, oh, okay, I get it now.
I'm not gonna lie, I'm actually kind of with you. The second one has a lot of ridiculous moments.
Yeah.
Where the first one doesn't have a lot of stupidity so much is weirdness.
It's just
the second one has like with the surfing and the effects,
that was
the
funny.
effects don't hold up really well.
I know it's dumb and people probably don't like that part, but I thought it was hilarious.
Now everything I've read from John Carpenter, he actually likes this one better than the first one.
Okay, I'm with you, John Carpenter.
But this movie was a major flop. He does change clothes in this movie into a new outfit. Yes. They were trying to make this one a little more action heavy, a little more dark, which I think they did.
Some of my favorite things happened in this movie with some of the kills and things.
Yeah. Now, what's funny about this, and I haven't revealed this to you, but I read the thing about this a while back. And if anybody has ever seen that it's not actually true, but this is an article I read that was actually true, that there was going to be a third film.
Oh.
And John Carpenter was going to return, Kurt Russell was going to return or whatever, but this movie was a flop.
No,
so they decided we're not going to get to do it. But they did make the movie. The movie is just no longer an escape from movie with Snake Plissken. Instead, it's a movie with Desolation Jones, with a movie would have been called Escape from Mars, but now it's called what is that Mars movie you like with Ice Cube?
Ghosts of Mars.
Ghosts of Mars. That was,
I love that movie.
That was
I know. I'm probably the only one.
That's a John Carpenter movie. That was supposed to be Escape from Mars with Snake Plissken.
Oh my gosh, that was so
it got retooled with Ice Cube as Desolation Jones, and so Ice Cube's character should have been Snake Plissken.
Oh, okay, that makes much more sense because that one's a little bit like woo.
Yeah, it's the same vibe.
It is.
Yeah.
No,
so,
I like that movie. Okay, now it makes so much more sense.
So, if you didn't know that, Ghosts of Mars.
That's so cool. I love
Ghosts of Mars. Should in fact.
I think I'm the only one that likes Ghosts of Mars.
Ghosts of Mars. When I revisited it, I didn't dislike it as much as I did when I originally saw it. Because I think I knew what I was walking into, so I had more fun with it. Because I like Jason Statham and I like Ice Cube and I like John Carpenter, and I think knowing that it's connected to this, it makes more sense.
Well, now we can watch him as a trilogy.
Even though it's not actually connected to this anymore, but knowing it could have.
He's wearing camo pants and the black shirt. Oh my gosh, it's all coming together. That's so cool. And I watched that one recently. I think I watched it last year because I was like, I want to watch this again. Well, I think
Shout Factory sent a new copy of it. That's why you watched it, because you reviewed it.
Yes, because I loved it the first time. I know I was.
Or Mill Creek or somebody did.
I liked it. I know it's.
So anyway, both the Escape movies are available now from Shout Factory. In nice collector editions that have like all kinds of.
I like that in the future. The year is 2013.
Yeah, that's in the LA one.
Yes.
And it makes fun of LA all over the place. And the Hollywood glamour of plastic surgery. You got Bruce Campbell in it.
Oh my gosh,
Bruce Campbell's the plastic surgeon guy, and they got all the prosthetics on their face. I think I also read that Steve Buscemi did this movie so he would make money to make the movie he directed, Trees Lounge. So that's why he took the role in this movie, because he was just starting to come up with it. But this one's they got all kinds of new interviews on both of them with different people on the crew, whether it's some of the actors and actresses and some of the crew, and there's different features. So they're kind of cool little collector editions, and they're done from a 4K scans. This one's from a 2K scan of the original negative. This one's a 4K scan of the original negative.
I mean, they look good.
So if you don't have them or do have them, but they're cool little collector things from Shop Factory.
Yeah, I like the surfing thing. I know it's ridiculous.
I remember when I saw it in theater, I was like, oh my god, this is so dumb.
I know, but it's fun.
But I think that might actually be one of those that I saw the new one before I saw the original, because I was kind of late to the party on that when it came out, and I'm like, isn't that an old movie? And you remember, we didn't have as much stuff to look at, and it was the late 90s, and I think we had the internet by then, didn't we? 96?
Yes.
Yeah, because I was
it was like,
it was dial-up. But I wasn't as dialed.
Dial-up,
I wasn't as dialed in at the time of I loved movies, but I was kind of boxed into the movies I liked. Yeah. I liked my martial arts stuff. I liked my animation. Because
kids, when you went to go find a movie, you went to the video store, and it was set up in genres.
Yeah.
And I always went to
I
went to the Asian film section. I loved it, but that's where I got into like a lot of Asian cinema. And so
I worked at a video store forever, and it was like I was so excited to have the VHS in your hand.
Yeah. And the big box, Be Kind, Rewind.
Yeah.
So fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then to know what was happening with movies, you actually had to like read.
Well, there was a lot of movies that came out that we didn't get steady trailers all the time, and social medias and stuff that were showing all that stuff, or at least that I was a part of. And a lot of movies that I saw or fell in love with were strictly by looking at the box cover. Because you'd walk that video store aisle, and it was either in genre or new release, and you'd be like, "Oh my God, here's a new movie with Mark Dacascos," and you're like, "I'm gonna watch it." You watch stuff strictly because of who you saw or the art itself.
Yeah.
Because a lot of the old art too were like paintings or things.
They had to catch your eye.
Yeah, and there's a lot of boxes. Like I remember seeing posters or seeing covers of different cases of stuff, and maybe never watching the movie, and then like watching a movie that maybe Shout Factory or Mill Creek or somebody released now, and I'm watching the movie, and then I go to look at the original art, and I'm like, holy crap, this was that movie. I remember this movie at the video store, and I never watched it, or I did watch it and never realized that they were the same.
Yeah, same thing.
Because they'd get a different release cover or like I Spit on Your Grave, that original poster. I remember seeing that poster in the video store, but never saw that movie.
Yeah, because they probably didn't have the box art.
Yeah, until years
There's no way they were going to release it with that lady with her.
Well, that was the poster. Was that lady's butt?
Was it?
Yeah, that poster
was it on the box.
That big poster was supposedly Demi Moore's butt. Yeah, that cover was the butt and the knife.
Was she the butt double for the lady?
That's what I always heard. I don't know if that's ever one of those.
We'll have to ask her.
Urban legends.
Let's just call Demi right now.
I don't know if that was an urban legend or whatever, but I always read that she was like just.
What movie did you show?
I Spit on Your Grave. Anyway, so we can move on. What else we got?
Oh, and it comes up immediately. Okay, next movie we're going to talk about on our list. Let's go to the website, HollywoodMatrimony.com.
Oh, we got these two to talk about too.
Oh, yes. Okay.
One of them is, one of them's not.
Let's talk about it.
So this one is not on there, but I didn't list it, but I saw this one without you.
Okay, tell me about it. Now? Yes, there's a movie called The Dinner Party.
The Dinner Party.
I'll put a review right now.
It's a lower budget movie, and I kind of wrote this in my review, but it's always interesting. There's a lot of horror type films that are either starting around or feature some sort of a dinner party, and then things usually go to crap with said party. You have movies like Texas Chainsaw Massacre where the family's around eating tied to the chairs.
Yeah, we know what they're eating.
You have the one that's
No, because that one was.
What is the? You're Next. That's the one.
Next.
That's the one where the whole Ritz family are sitting around and all of a sudden those people attack them.
Ready or Not.
Ready or Not's more recently.
I liked the Selma Hayek one.
Which one is that one? Oh,
You Killed My Goat.
That was.
She's like, you killed my goat.
But that one's not so much of a horror as it's more of a drama, heavy drama. You're talking about the one she's with the rich people?
No, but there's some stuff happening in that movie too.
But anyway, dinner parties somehow are either the sign of happiness and holidays or horrific things.
Horrific.
There's always like romance movies and dramas where relationships fall apart because of dinner party.
And you know what? That's real life. This is.
You get too many people together.
Art imitating life.
But anyway, this movie is actually called The Dinner Party. And it's one of those movies that I enjoyed the movie once it finally got going, but it limps along pretty heavily initially.
Was it hard?
Some of it's performance, some of it's.
Was it hard to stay with it?
It is because it's like the story's about this couple that are going to this rich person's dinner party.
Okay.
And there's this very eclectic group of people at this dinner party, and they're all weirdos.
Oh, Lord.
And the problem for me is they're weirdos right off the bat.
Is it my family?
No, but they're all overacting.
Oh,
so that's what lost me, is because they're very much like, someone's like, don't you know? They're trying to be weird, and I'm like, had they done their exact same things they did and not tried to be weird, they would have come off creepy weird.
Would it have worked well on a stage, like a stage production?
Maybe, but still, no, but I think it was still too much.
Okay.
Because,
all right.
Because, like I said, because they're trying to make sure the audience knows that they're weirdos. And I'm like, you didn't need to be weirdos.
You got to be subtle to be weird.
Because one of the weirdest people in there he was good. He was very quiet. He didn't say a lot. There's a couple of guys that have banter. There's a lady who's supposed to be a known playwright in the movie or something. And the first time you see her, she's butt-ass naked. And she's cornering the lady in the hallway, and she's like talking to her, kind of hitting on her. Oh, but there's no setup for it. She just appears.
Appears naked?
And then and given the other lady is put off by it and creeped out and weirded out, But the other thing that throws me big is the man that's with her, which I don't know if it's her boyfriend or husband, honestly. He's trying to get in good for something, right? And I don't think I ever really understood what it was. Like, I don't know if it was.
Well, that's not good if you don't.
Well, I don't think that was really important to the story.
Okay.
Because it's really about where the story goes. Because it's got a twist ending that I kind of figured out. That's interesting.
Well, that's not good either.
Well, no. I kind of just assumed where they were going to go, and it's fine because it's a little fun ending. But he seemed to be weirded out as well, but okay with everything until like it was more important why they were there than what they're dealing with. So like when she was like, "Look, this is really weird," he's like, "Just get over it. Just sit there and be quiet," you know. And when she finally does say something and kind of get involved, he's like, "You need to shut up and start sharing," you know.
Wow.
And you can tell it was kind of an abusive relationship, which I think that was part of the point. And she has a couple of flashbacks where came from an abusive childhood, and so it kind of fits in with everything. So
she's being triggered.
And it's a mix of some supernatural stuff, cannibalistic stuff, sexual stuff. There's so many different things for each person. But then once it starts happening and it gets into some bloody and guts and some violence and craziness, it ends up being a fun little movie. It's a little hard to get through, and a lot of it has to do with, I'm sure, the budget. I give them credit. They made a movie that didn't feel like just a really low budget film, even though it probably kind of was. But it's okay. It is what it is. It's one of those movies that I would more suggest you just try it for yourself and see.
Oh, I like this cover better.
Yeah, that cover's awesome. Is that the same movie?
Is it not? That's
it. Yeah. Same movie. The one thing that threw me more than anything was the cast list said Jeremy London was in the movie.
Yeah, is he?
And I never saw him the whole movie. And I went back to watch it. I had to go to IMDb to look at him. I'm like, where was he in this movie? Plays her. He's the abusive dad in the flashbacks.
Oh.
And I never realized it was him because it's a lot of cutaways or the way he looks. So I was like, holy crap. And then I didn't want to put his name in the thing because I'm like, he's not in this movie.
Does this even make sense? Because this is the...
Huh?
And that's more.
That makes sense. I don't know about the brother.
Oh, that's a different movie.
That's a different movie. Okay.
Sorry.
Yeah, that makes the other one total sense. So anyway, it's one of those movies that
seems interesting.
just if you like just whacked out characters and violence and things like this, check it out. It's a decent little movie. It's not great. It's not bad. It kind of runs down the middle. Worth checking out for once, especially if you're looking for something different. It's not overly original, but it's interesting.
I'm looking at the director.
Oh, is that the director?
Miles.
Holy crap.
Yeah. Huh.
That's very cool. Hold on a second. He's in the movie.
Oh, okay.
I didn't realize he's in the movie.
Yeah, he's the director.
Look, he tweeted me about it.
Oh, that's cool. Awesome.
He tweeted it because I said it's all in for some. I said something like I'm all in for bloody fun. So he took it, quoted it, and I didn't realize he was the director.
So nice.
It says at BDG Studios says the dinner party is all in for some bloody fun. Thank you, Bobby and Hollywood Matrimony, for reviewing your film. I greatly appreciate it.
There you go. Thank you, Miles. We appreciate you.
Awesome.
We like anything kind of blood and gory, which kind of leads us to our next movie.
That's right. That's fun. I'm laughing now. I saw that this morning. I didn't realize that's who that was.
Oh, babe. We get lots of really fun tweets sometimes, which I really like. Okay. So our next movie, which I enjoyed, I'm just going to throw that out there.
Well, I've been kind of off and on. We're talking about this one, right?
Yeah.
I was on the fence with this
know.
one because I knew of it. They've sent me stuff about it for a while, and I haven't posted anything about it, mostly because I just was running out of time to do it.
Yeah.
And I was trying to get the bigger news out more. And then the first two times I got stuff, I didn't realize that Kevin James was in the movie.
Yeah.
Because I didn't have a poster or anything. And then when I first glanced at his poster, I'm like, who is that guy?
Oh, yeah. Well, when I first see him on screen, I had no idea what. Oh, sorry. The name of the movie is Becky.
Yes. And it stars Lulu Wilson.
Yeah.
Who, I don't know if she was familiar to you, but when she was a little bit younger, she's already young. She's been in movies like Ouija. I think the second Ouija movie, she was in Annabelle Creation. But she always played a character that was kind of scared and damsel in distress kind of thing with the horror films. She was in that Deliver Us from Evil movie.
Yeah.
But in Becky, she's not a damsel in distress. There's a whole different second world for her.
Yeah.
But it's also Joel McHale. People know from Community and a lot of other stuff.
Yeah.
And then Kevin James from Kevin Can Wait and King of Queens.
Yeah.
And every Adam Sandler movie.
I love Kevin James. And
I
he
love
shows
Kevin
up
James.
on screen and like,
this is not.
What?
And I was worried, and I'm always like this. I love seeing actors and actresses step out of the what they're known for.
Yeah, me too.
But I'm always worried that can I see them beyond?
Oh.
You know, am I going to see bumbling, funny Kevin James, who's playing a white supremacist psychopath in this film?
Yeah, you heard that right.
He's bald. He's got a big bushy beard. He's got swastikas tattooed on his head. He's got full body tattoos. And I'm like, and I was wrong. You do not see funny Kevin James at all.
Well, just his first appearance on screen, he doesn't look like him because his demeanor is completely different. And you've got that big old swastika on his head. And I'm like, oh, okay. That's where we're going.
And you know what? You always forget because he's always the funny fat guy.
Yeah.
You forget he's an imposing man.
He's big.
He's a big guy. And he's a fast guy. And he's agile. Because he's had he's made a career with physical comedy.
Yeah.
And if you ever, whether you like him or not, if you've ever watched Here Comes the Boom, he does pretty much all of his martial arts stuff himself. And he's you could tell he's a strong man. He's an imposing figure. And you make him up like this, he's a scary man.
He's pretty scary in this. It's interesting. So the story is about Becky and her dad are going to their lake house for the weekend. And then we find out kind of through the story, stuff has happened. That's why it's just her and her dad. So there's a little story there going on. But at the same time, there's a prison break, which is Kevin James and some dudes. And they stumble upon this lake house. I forget
who that wrestler guy's name is.
He's big. There's this big old dude where they're like, stand up. And he stands up and he stands up and he's still standing and standing like, whoa. This guy's got to be like 8 feet tall.
For a while with the WWE.
Let me look it up. I'm on the page. I can tell you who it is.
Robert Malleado. Who was he though?
Robert Malleado. Okay. Trained under Bret Hart. Professional wrestler turned actor.
Kurgan.
Named Goliath.
He was Kurgan in WWE.
Okay, well, he's also been wrestling in other countries named Goliath El Gigante.
Because he was also part of the...
Big dude.
He was part of the oddities. That's what it was. It was when all the weirdos were coming out, like a carnival group. And he came out and he wore like... different colored pants, and he was all like,
he's 6'11".
He's a big man.
He's huge. He's humongous.
And I love the fact of how they used him because he's probably the most scary looking figure, but the most at peace. He's the gentle giant mentality.
He really is.
Even though he's dangerous.
Yeah. Oh yeah. He
has a code.
Yeah. He hurts some people in this, and so does Kevin James. So, anyways, these people stumble upon the lake house, and madness ensues, as you can imagine. Yeah.
Basically, they're looking for something at this house.
In the house.
And the only person that's not in the house, it's Joel McHale, the dad, the fiance, her son. But Becky's run off.
He has a new girlfriend that we didn't know about until here.
And it makes matters worse. I believe is she black or Hispanic?
She's black. It's the lady that is.
I know what actor she is, but I don't know.
I don't want to assume. Amanda Brugel.
I don't want to assume her ethnicity.
You'll know her from
Canada.
Kim's Convenience, if you've ever watched that. She's
she's the minister.
She's the minister in Kim's Convenience. I knew immediately.
Well, I knew her, but I couldn't fix. And again, this is not the same kind of film.
This is not at all what you would know because she's Pastor
Remember
Nina.
In that, she always has her hair pulled in.
Hello, Pastor Nina.
Yeah,
She's Pastor Nina from Kim's Convenience.
That's awesome.
She's also been in Handmaid's Tale and some other stuff. She is from Canada,
which is why she's in Kim's Convenience.
Yes,
that's Canadian.
And I don't know what her ethnicity
is, but it
doesn't matter.
But because she's not white, it even adds to the whole white supremacy aspect of it.
And that I was like,
But then
Becky, go down.
Becky's upset about all the things happening with her personal life because she's dealing with some tragedy and doesn't like that her dad's getting engaged. Nothing? I said engaged.
Engaged.
If I have to ask her, it doesn't
sorry.
Excuse me.
Yeah, some...
So she's kind of retreated to her treehouse fort out in the woods.
Yeah. So these guys show up and she's not in the house.
No.
So, you know.
But the different things, they realize they're missing someone.
Yes, eventually.
Yeah.
But people are getting shot. Stabbed.
Lawnmowered.
Run over.
Boated.
I mean, there are so many good effects.
I didn't expect this to be as gory, violent. I knew it was going to be violent from the trailer, but I didn't expect it to be gory level violence. Like, this is horror film level violence.
Oh, I loved it too. And it's all in daylight.
It is. There's some nice stuff at the end, but
I loved it because
it is a fun movie.
It's fun because it's very creative kills.
Yeah.
And I thought it was a good parallel that they're outside of prison, but they're getting prison-style creative kills, like what you would do.
Well, and more so than that. And, and the person doing the killing, which is Becky, because she's fighting for the family in her life, but they've taken a character who is already slightly off because she's just an angry teenager that clearly needs some counseling with what she hasn't dealt with. She's not mentally disturbed or anything like that. And then when she's pushed even further, she's like, it's kind of the mentality of a mother, you know, when you take a mother's kids and how you believe the mother can destroy everyone. It's just kids, same thing. Yeah. But they also still were very smartly, even though there's a few over the top moments. Yeah. They smartly still tried to keep it grounded where she wasn't suddenly a badass. Yeah. She was just using her brain. Yeah. And doing a lot of things. Because there's one moment where I think it's Kevin James power bombs a little girl. And I was like, geez, oh, Pete.
Well, no, that big guy did too.
Yeah, well, he threw her.
He threw her down and then he punched her
Kevin
in the
James
chest.
Chases her at one point and grabs her like this.
Oh my god!
He picks her up MMA style and flips her down on her back. And I'm just like, geez, oh, Pete. That bothered me more than the people getting stabbed and cut open. Yeah, because I know what it feels like. I don't know what it feels like to have my throat slit. I know I've been cut a few times, but I know what it feels like to be power bombed, and that is not pleasant.
But like from way up here, like boom.
And I've been power bombed from way up there, but not on the rock ground with tree roots. And
no, the one that got me was when the big giant dude like punched her in the chest, and she's like,
I've been there too. That is not pleasant.
Because I mean, imagine a big dude, like a 7-foot dude, punching somebody in my size, like in the chest,
and then apologizing.
Yeah, he's like, I don't hit kids. Okay, yeah, you do.
But no, it's one of those just crazy fun movies. Now, I will warn people because I know there's some people I know that have issues when harm comes to animals. There's no graphic animal injuries.
No, but it's implied.
It's kind of John Wick style, where you know there's an implication of some stuff that happens, but there's also stuff that dogs get their due. Oh, yeah. You know, so they get. Don't worry, they get their.
It's okay.
They get their vengeance as well.
So just be aware. There's some white supremacist issues with white people, black people. He's crazed, violence, blood, gore.
I will say on that front, I like that they didn't play up the race card.
No, they didn't.
Because
it's in there.
They make a reference, and you know more from the tattoos and the way they're talking of where they stand. Speech. But there's never this blatant dropping racial slurs or I don't have to listen to you or I hate you because you're this race. So it's one that still gets that point across without having to shove in your face because he
makes just this one little kind of monologue speech about the races and this and that and everyone should be in their place. Yeah. So, but it doesn't get mean.
No, it gives you as much as you need to know about this person.
You know where he's at
because you're not going to like him and you're not supposed to like him.
No,
which makes you enjoy what happens later in the movie even more. Mm-hmm. So.
Anywho,
it's a fun movie.
Whew, I did not know anything about it or expect any of that.
Right. Like I said, I knew of Kevin James. I didn't know that I'd share the Red Band trailer. I never sat and watched it at first, and then I finally got around to it. And I had to show it to you. I'm like, you got to see this trailer.
Yeah.
And I showed her the trailer, and she's like, oh, that looks fun. I'm like, we're gonna watch this because I have a screener, and you're like, what?
Okay, I will watch it.
But it's available now. Here's the exact message they sent me to tell what it's in. Digital and on demand, of course. Okay. In theaters and drive-ins.
Oh, I love it.
So drive-ins are showing it some drive-in stuff. So if you can find it, check it out. It's a fun little movie that's worth checking out.
I want to go to the drive-in.
Well, we'll go back to it later on.
Okay, I'm gonna go look up drive-in theaters
right now. So I got one more?
I think what else?
Because the other one I'm gonna do for tomorrow instead.
Okay, let's go here.
Make sure we don't miss it.
Got to make sure we talk about the right things. Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
So this next one, it was one that I wanted to see, but was on the fence about seeing, and I have not posted the review yet. Okay. So if you start looking for it, it's not there.
It's not there. Well, I was looking for
everybody knows, love him or hate him, we all know about the Academy Award winning movie, Braveheart. The movie won like five Academy Awards, including Best Picture. I think he won Director too. I don't remember. But anyway, we know Braveheart. It's a great movie. It's epic. It holds up well. This is the 4K release that they put out. They just put out fixing to put out a new 4K release. I think Steelbook edition or something. Anyway, but we're not talking about Braveheart today. We're going to talk about a movie that's technically classified as a spin-off. It is not a sanctioned film through the same production company, through Mel Gibson, anything else. but it is connected. It's a movie called Robert the Bruce,
Mm.
and it stars Angus McFadden, who played Robert the Bruce in Braveheart. And this movie takes place 8 years, the new one, 8 years after the fall of William Wallace. And according to what I've read, Angus McFadden, he wrote the script, and he wrote it like 12 years ago. So wow. I don't know what year this movie came out now.
It's been a while.
Yeah, 1995.
Yeah.
So clearly it's been sitting in his brain to get this movie made. So it takes place 8 years later as Robert the Bruce is still fighting for Ireland. Is it Ireland?
Scotland.
Scotland, sorry. I knew that didn't sound right when I said it. He's fighting for Scotland, but this time he's been betrayed and left. And now he's trying to fight for survival and living with his family and the people that are trying to kill him. Does that sound about right?
Yes.
All right. So I'll start with you, man. What did you think about Robert the Bruce?
I had to go back and read about Braveheart. I'm like, okay, what happened? Because I need to get my history straight.
Yeah, because you know what's funny is I didn't remember. I knew he was the bad guy in Braveheart, but then at the end he turns to help him.
Yeah, he wasn't the bad guy. It's just
he was helping the English.
Yeah, I mean. Yeah. And you got to understand, I mean, in any civil war, there's always two sides of the story and 2 points of view. And so that's where he was. And then finally he turned.
He realized, it's because they betrayed him. I think it was his father or whatever betrayed him. And then he decided, no. And he rose up to fight him.
Scotland.
And that continues into this. But he's still being betrayed to try to stop him.
So I actually really enjoyed this movie. I had no idea it was going to happen. I liked it. It was interesting. So, we follow him in a little bit. Years later, and he's still trying to fight the war, and he's kind of like down and out. And I liked that.
He's still king or whatever.
He's king, but he's
they're
down
trying to dethrone him.
And the English people are still like, no, it's ours, and they're like, no, it's ours. So I enjoyed it. I liked all of the people in it. I think everybody did a good job. I liked the bad guy, whoever he was,
with the guy from Spartacus,
with his little pretty hair. Yeah,
Spartacus guy from the prequel.
I liked it.
No. I enjoyed it, but I thought it was super slow. I wasn't overly impressed with the fights. I lost interest a couple times because I think it could have been cut down a little bit because I think the initial part, the build up leading to him kind of running away or whatever, or being found, and the family helping. I think it took so long to get there without a lot of stuff really giving us really anything, because like the initial words they give you on screen kind of tell you about Braveheart and what happened after that. It sets it up, and I think had they just kind of showed the battle that led into where he ended up, I think it would have been enough. But they seemed like they were trying to pack it up because they were trying to find ways to do more fights, I think. Yeah, and try to tell more story, but that story to me it wasn't compelling enough to matter. I know.
I think they're assuming you would have just watched Braveheart. I think is what they were hoping. But what I did like was the narration of the lady who there's a family,
and that's a problem for me too because the narration was quiet and the music was loud.
I'm sorry.
And between my bad hearing and the bad editing, I think, and her accent all at once, I heard none of the narration.
See, and I heard it, and the narration was really good. She's telling her kids like as bedtime stories, the story
I got that.
Of William Wallace and Robert the Bruce and how they were fighting for the people, and now he's there. So throughout several nights of bedtime stories, you hear the full story.
Right.
So for me, it was okay. I'm sorry you didn't hear it.
I hear a word.
Oh, that's horrible.
And I told you, but the problem was if I cranked it up, the music was overbearing. And
I'm wondering why that's happening a lot. Is it us here?
No, because I've adjusted and I've watched other stuff that is the same setup. I think it's just a bad edit, and maybe it could be the way it's transferred onto the thing.
That's what I'm thinking.
Who knows?
In the theater, so not normally that.
It doesn't happen much in the theaters, and that's why originally I thought it might be our setup on our surround system here. But I reset it and I watched other stuff.
We can watch stuff with subtitles.
I've done that too.
Yeah, I've had to sometimes. So, anyways, I thought it was good. I like the guy. I like Angus. What's his name?
Angus McFadden is good. I like him.
Good.
And it is funny though seeing him as a 50-something-year-old man playing a 30-something-year-old character. But you gotta just leave it alone and move on with the story.
Okay.
Because in the movie they're not specifying his age, but I think in the history, I think he's supposed to be like 36 or 33 or something.
He's a little more mature.
In real life, he's 50-something years old.
I liked all the kids in this too. Yeah. And we had a montage.
Well, I think the other part too that kind of bothered me was there was a lot of elements that felt like this. There's a whole sub story with his sword, and I think the sword thing was very convenient the way it happened. You know what I mean? The way they lay it out, like this is just happens to be the kid that gets this, and this just happens to lead to this. All that leads back to, hey, yeah, he's right here. You know.
Well, because
I understood
it
how they did
explains to you, the witch said.
I'm aware.
It was the premonition of the witch.
I get that. I'm just saying, I felt the way it laid out in the movie, it felt way convenient as opposed to
fate, babe.
Yeah, I know. It's convenience.
If you
People like to say fate, but a lot of times it plays up as convenience for storytelling.
It depends on what you believe in this story.
Yeah.
So
it's fine. It's a decent movie.
I enjoyed it.
It's a more of a spiritual sequel to Braveheart. It has no connection to Braveheart really, other than the continuation of this character and the same actor. The lady that plays his wife, I think in the flashbacks.
The flashback.
Ironically enough, is the same actress that played William Wallace's the young version of his wife in Braveheart.
Okay.
So it's the same actress, but
don't get confused. It's not
no,
the
she's
same
not the
character.
same character. It's just, but you probably wouldn't even notice. I just found it interesting when I read about it that they brought that in there. So, but it's fine. It's a good movie. It's very much, you know what? And ironically, I think it's put on the same people. This falls very much in line and connection the same way that Jesus Rolls falls in with Big Lebowski. It's the same company put both movies out. The STX or Screen Media, excuse me. So you have Big Lebowski, you have Braveheart, the real movies are the big movies, the ones everybody knows. Then you have one character on their own journey that's only connected by that character.
By that one story.
This one's obviously be more history. The Jesus Rolls being its own thing.
Yeah.
But if you like Braveheart and want to see more continuation, it's not as epic, in my opinion. It's not as the fighting's not as good, but it's there. There's plenty of it initially, but it is a little slow. But Angus McFadden is good. It's a good, decent follow-up to check out.
Okay.
What are you doing over there? You're just like clicking all kinds of crap over there. What are you trying to read at the drive?
I was just trying to see what was at the drive-in.
So I guess that's it.
All right, that was it for us.
Talk about what's going on.
Yeah, let's see what's going on.
Well, there's a lot of different things that came out this week that we'll talk about. Some of them next week. We didn't get a chance to talk about yet. This is all stuff that's already out. Shout Factory.
Shout.
Also put out a copy of a new edition of The Deer Hunter.
New edition.
And this one is a 4K copy. I don't know if this is one of their first 4Ks or what. But it's a 4K copy of The Deer Hunter. That's already out. There's this movie called, that we'll talk about next week, called One Cut of the Dead. It's an Asian zombie flick comedy. They're saying it's the best, or somebody's IndieWire says the best comedy since Shaun of the Dead. So it's that kind of thing. Okay. It's another one of these RLJE films and Shudder get together and team up and put it out. It's Asian zombies. Paramount is also releasing the 40th anniversary edition, first time on Blu-ray, of Urban Cowboy starring John Travolta and Scott Glenn. You haven't seen this, you said?
I have not seen it. I'm going to have to.
I have no idea why, but I watched this movie a lot when I was a kid. And I don't think it's appropriate for kids, but I've watched it a lot. So we'll talk about that. The big stuff coming out is it's slim pickings next week. But the biggest one that's coming out is The Hunt, which was classified as one of the most controversial movies that no one had saw before it came out, because it was supposed to come out, I think, last year sometime. And then because of the people misconstrued what the trailer meant, they assumed it was just bashing political such and such. It got all kinds of uproar and attacked, and so they pulled it, and they finally released it. And then people realized it is not the movie they thought it was, and instead it's an awesome movie. So it comes out next week on Blu-ray and DVD. So also We Summon the Darkness, which is another movie I really want to see. That's got Alexandria Daddario, and I think Johnny Knoxville is in it. It's like another horror comedy kind of thing. And that's it. There's some other bunch of random other stuff, but that's the bigger ones.
Okay.
What you got over there? Anything?
So coming out during the
I have a screener for that.
No, this was June 15th. I need to get to the. I need next week. Oh, I'm in the wrong week. Here we go. June 12th. That's right. Okay.
Yeah.
Streaming online, a movie called Infamous: Two Young Lovers.
I forgot Artemis Fowl was coming.
So there's that. Artemis Fowl,
which is coming to
on
Disney Plus,
based on the book series, which many people.
That was one that was supposed to come out in the theaters, and that was the first one during the pandemic hit that Disney pulled and said we're going to put on Disney Plus instead.
Also streaming, which I think you've been wanting to watch too, is The King of Staten Island with Scott Davidson.
Who?
Isn't that Scott? Oh, Scott Davidson's character. Sorry, the dude.
It's Pete Davidson.
Pete Davidson.
It's
His name is Scott in the movie.
It's the new Judd Apatow film. It was another one that was supposed to be theatrical, and it's got put on paper.
Marissa Tomei's in it, so I'm in.
Yeah. Bill Burr's in it. Steve Buscemi's in it.
Pete Davidson. I'm starting to like him. I didn't.
We're gonna watch his stand up tonight.
I'm starting to like him. And I liked that other movie he did. It was really emotional. So
I think this one's loosely based on his life. His father was a firefighter that died in 9/11, and so this film deals with firefighters and his life and that kind of thing.
Out on Prime Video, Knives Out. So that's kind of cool. If you missed it, go watch it. It'll be on Prime. Also on Prime Video, I don't know what this is. Gulabo Sitabo. That sounds fun.
I'm looking forward to this one too.
Okay, streaming online, The Departure. I don't know what that's about, but we'll watch it. The Five Bloods.
That's a new Spike Lee movie
on Netflix.
It's a new Spike Lee movie.
And it literally says The Five Bloods.
Yes, DA. But it's about these soldiers from Vietnam, I believe it is.
Oh wow! Yeah.
And they had got a treasure or something, and they hid it. And then as old people, they would go back to find it. I think it's another based on a true story thing.
Interesting. And then also streaming online something called Exit Plan. Don't know what that's about either. But you know what? We're going to find out. We're going to watch some movies.
That's right. So we got stuff lined up for next week. And I believe this last week, I think Sonic was one of the number ones that were still being watched. So Sonic's still racking up the cash. So it seems like with everybody in quarantine at home before things started to open up, it seemed like animation was taking because everybody had their kids there. So it was Trolls and Sonic. Things like that.
Put it on, and there you go.
Last I heard, I don't know if it's true or not, but a lot of the theaters are supposed to be opening up June 19th.
We'll see.
AMC hasn't announced. AMC's had some financial issues prior to this, so we don't know if AMC is going to be back or not. But I know Cinemark has announced that they were planning to open June 19th.
Yeah.
And a lot of theaters are planning to do like $5 movies, luring you back with like older movies and stuff just to get you in theaters.
I just want my popcorn.
And I think the first big release is going to be Tenet in July.
Oh yeah, that looks interesting.
They've been holding their ground from day one because Christopher Nolan is like, I shot this movie to be seen on the big screen, and we're not.
Yeah.
And Warner Brothers has pulled everything else except for that. So, what the dog?
Yeah.
So we'll see if Tenet actually hits this big screen. And a lot of people are concerned with like, will it be able to make any money with a limited theater capacity? But the flip side argument is, what other movies playing? Exactly. So if they put it in every screen, they can fit everybody to watch the movie, even with minimal capacity in every theater. You can still get as much, if not more, than you would have got in 2 theaters showing.
Yep.
So, but they're talking about bringing a lot of things like the Avengers movies and all that stuff back. People come see it for $5 on the big screen.
Yeah.
So we'll see what happens.
We'll see. And then the drive-in's always an option. It says they're open 7 nights a week near us. So.
The drive-ins are booming, man. They're still showing stuff. Some of the movies are good.
Some of it's older. You know, some are things we didn't watch that. I think I've not seen that. So I would go watch some of these things over again anyway. Yeah, and
here's the upside of things that I know it sucks when you're like, well, I don't want to go to the movies to pay money for a movie I already own or I've already seen. But the thing is there's some of these movies that if you never got a chance to see them on the big screen, it's a great time to revisit it or take your kids to see it. So something like a Star Wars or an Avengers or Jurassic Park or these big, epic, loud, booming movies, those are the ones that, you know, like I remember when Star Wars got re-released to the big screen. I had saw Return of the Jedi in the theater when I was a kid and everything since, but I never saw Empire or Star Wars. So when they re-released them in theaters, that was a big deal. Yes, I owned them at home. I had seen them hundreds of times, but to get to experience the big screen and the noise and stuff, it's a whole nother thing, man.
Yeah, it is.
So
all right, well, that's what's happening. Thank you so much for watching. Make sure you check out our website, hollywoodmatrimony.com. Check it every day because there's new stuff all the time.
I'm trying. We're getting back to it. I know it slowed down a little bit, but we're getting back to it because they're starting to get news coming out. They're starting more happening. Demi
Moore confirmed in her memoir book she was the butt on the poster of I Spit on Your Grave in 1978. Boom. Movie news you can use. Make sure you find us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube. Send us messages.
We have only one contest going on right now that's about to close up. There's actually 2 up there, but one's already ended, so I got to go take it off. We're still giving away a copy of SpongeBob Bikini Bottom DVD with a few episodes on there, so that'll be ending up this week. I let it run a little while because, one, I didn't have as many people entering it, and then when everything craziness going on, I decided to leave it and give people a chance to win a copy of it. So if you want a copy of Bikini Bottom SpongeBob, if you want to like it, or you just want to have a bikini bottom, maybe this is an instructional video for that. I don't know. But you can go enter for that. There is some new giveaways going to be popping up soon that I just got some emails about. So hopefully we'll have some fun stuff to give away. And I know we haven't had any shows this past week. We've been kind of in and out with some other shows, but we're going to be back this week with all of our shows.
Yep.
So tomorrow we'll be back with another episode of Martial Arts Movie Mondays, where I'm going to break my rule. I'm going to tell you what we're talking about.
What are we talking
because
about?
it was going to be on this show. I'm going to be talking about The Duck Collector, which the reason we're going to talk about this is not only because it stars Louis Mandylor and Scott Adkins and is directed by Jesse V. Johnson, who I also love, but there's a new Debt Collectors. The sequel is now out on pay-per-view, I believe, and stuff. So we're going to talk about them both. So my normal rule is to not tell you at a time, and also to only talk about a movie I have in my hand. But I have one of them, and we're going to talk about it because they actually play as one long movie.
There you go.
Then we'll be back for another episode of TV Tuesdays.
You guys.
Tuesdays.
I've got to tell y'all about 90 Days the Other Way. It's crazy.
And we've got all kinds of stuff to talk about. I got a brand new show I watched. It's old. I watched it on Blu-ray. 2 shows, 2 big ones. We got an animated series. We got random stuff.
I gotta watch some Quibi, so we have some more stuff to talk about.
We got lots of stuff to talk about at TV Tuesday as well. And then of course we'll be back here for all new episode of Hollywood Matrimony Live, where we already have laid out a tons of stuff. So we're back in it, sister. We're not having a struggle to figure out what we're going to talk about. We're back in. Now if we can just figure out our lighting and not look like a bunch of dunderheads on the YouTube side.
See, it looks like it's lighter now.
Lighter.
I don't even know.
I don't know. Anyway, we'll be back. So make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel. Subscribe to all of our other nonsense. Tell your friends, and above all else, be nice to one each other. Just sit and listen sometimes. We talk too much. Just like you're having to listen to us today. Sit down and listen to someone else. Who knows? You might learn something.
All right. Thank you so much for watching. We love y'all.
Peace, love, and chicken grease. Ironically enough, because we're having
fried chicken.
Woo! Bye.